This is Twit.
Verizon announced their new phone upgrade plan, Edge, during their fairly positive quarterly earnings call this morning. Starting August 25th, Verizon customers can go on a non-contract plan where they pay the cost of the phone over 24 months and can upgrade after 6 months, although upgrading customers have to pay half the cost of the phone. So that means you have to pay off the phone if you upgrade before the 12 months. Unlike T-Mobile's Next plan, but exactly like AT&T's Jump plan, Verizon's Edge gives no reduction in monthly service costs. As for the earnings report, Verizon added 941,000 subscribers and earned $5.2 billion in profit, up 16% year over year.
Android Central has what it says are the first photos of the next-gen Nexus 7, or at least a very convincing prototype. If it turns out to be legit, the device is still made by Asus. There should be a 16 and 32 gigabyte option, 7-inch LCD display, 1.2 megapixel front camera with a 5 megapixel rear camera. The device appears to run Android 4.3, uses micro SD for connections, has dual speakers, and possibly even 4 gigabytes of RAM. Also, another version of Android 4.3 popped up in the wild. Google Plus user Jeff Williams bought a Nexus 4 off of Craigslist, posted a screenshot of the device running Android version 4.3 and build number JWR66N. So, probably a new Android OS next week.
Yeah, key lime pie. You don't see this very often, but Apple, Facebook, Google, and Microsoft are all on the same side by signing a letter that requests the U.S. government allow the companies to give more details about government requests for user information. The letter is signed by an alliance of 63, made up of tech companies, nonprofit organizations, and trade associations. They also asked the government to issue a transparency report of its own, detailing the total number of information requests made and the number of individuals affected by each.
Hey, remember my prediction that Nokia would be in trouble and BlackBerry would stabilize this year?
Nope.
Well, good, because you can forget I said that now. After BlackBerry's wreck of an earnings report a few weeks ago, Nokia came in with a not nearly as ugly quarter. Sure, revenue is down year over year, but the loss is also down to only 115 million euros. But smartphone sales are growing. 7.4 million Windows Phone 8 devices sold in Q2. That's up from 5.6 million in Q1 and 4.4 million in Q4.
Speaking of smartphones, HTC has introduced the One Mini, a 4.3-inch version of its flagship smartphone, the One. HTC is pricing the Mini, as it says, 2 price points below the One by stepping down to a 1.4 gigahertz dual-core processor, a 1 gigabyte version of RAM, 16 gigabytes of non-expandable storage, no NFC, no optical image stabilization for the camera, and no IR blaster. But HTC says, do not fret. The One Mini will provide, quote, exactly the same experience to customers as its big brother.
Oh, good. I didn't want to fret today. Samsung just introduced the world to its 1 terabyte solid-state drive. The Samsung 840 EVO uses 10-nanometer class 128 gigabit NAND flash memory in conjunction with Samsung's MEX controller, which allows the drive ridiculous read-write speeds in the over 500 megabyte per second territory. The 1 terabyte model will cost $650 and is a part of the EVO SSD line. The smallest drive, a 128 gigabyte model, will cost $110.
CNET reports sources say Google is experimenting with encrypting all Google Drive files while stored. Now, Google already encrypts the transmissions to and from its cloud storage service. Encrypting the files while stored would prevent Google and any government that might want to look at the files from knowing what's in them. Only the user would have the key. Services like SpiderOak already practice zero-knowledge encryption, meaning only the file's owner can read the data.
The UK government says it will investigate Huawei's involvement in a cybersecurity center following a report by the Parliament's Intelligence Committee that staff were working at the base located in Oxfordshire. U.S. politicians have worried in the past that Huawei may be a threat because of links to China's government and military, but Huawei has always denied having ties to the Chinese state and has stressed it is 98.6% owned by its employees. Doesn't have a fever either then. It also has been active in the UK after striking a multi-billion-pound deal to provide networking equipment to BT in 2005.
Got fever for freedom. More than a year after taking the first applications for generic top-level domains, ICANN has issued its first approvals. The winners, the Arabic word for web or network, game in Chinese, and Russian for online and site. These will be the first non-Latin character domain names, by the way. One loser in all this is Amazon. An ICANN committee recommended against granting .amazon to the Seattle company, as it might be confused with the Amazon region of South America.
All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, because Microsoft firmly believes this because it's bundling 12 months of Xbox Live Gold with Office 365 subscriptions. This is a limited promotion that runs between July 18th and September 28th and requires you to purchase either a year-long Office 365 subscription or a 4-year Office 365 University subscription. The offer is not available in the U.S., but it is available in most of Europe, Asia, and Australia.
See, who says we get everything first?